Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you the game you've all been waiting for. It is game 5 of a best of 5 between Underthesea and Gonzo in the grand final of the Season 5 playoffs of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Seidlce, and on our left in the red team playing on the allied side, we have Gonzo using the 2nd Armoured French and the Vanguard deployment type. And on our right in the blue team, playing on the Axis side, we have Underthesea using the 21st Panzer and the Vanguard deployment type. Please remember that all the games played in the finals were played before the Burning Baltics DLC and the range changes. So, it's all tied up 2-2, and here we are in the grand final. You gotta love to see it. A best of 5 that goes to 5 games. It's always good to see. And you know what's even more poetic? Is Gonzo's going to be using the 2nd Armoured French against Underthesea, having had it played against him for the first 2 games. So let's see if Gonzo can use that to his advantage, but he's going to have a hard time. The 21st Panzer is a very strong division, not only because of King Tigers, of course. In a 1v1, that's less the case. But the 21st Panzer is certainly a good division on its own, even without the King Tigers. It has Panzer IVs, it's got great artillery support weapons. It has the Rheinwerfer, for example. It's got Panzergrens. It's pretty decent infantry. It's just a good all-round Axis armoured division. It really is. The only trouble that I think the 21st Panzer has is its half-tracks are pretty slow, so that can cause issues in certain regards. It doesn't have the better half-track, the 250 ones. Either way, let's have a quick look at this map. We are on Seidlce. Seidlce, I feel like this would certainly favour the 21st Panzer in the centre of the map. You've of course got all this open ground that can be covered quite well by either a King Tiger or even just things like the AT guns like Pak 43s. You do get Pak 43s with the 21st Panzer as well. So any sort of Sherman or armoured play in the middle of the map I feel like could be crushed pretty hard by the 21st Panzer. The 21st Panzer is going to have to be careful around the top and bottom side of the map, especially the top side. The bottom side's not so bad because there is quite a lot of range here to work with things like Panzer IVs and AT guns. It's just this choke point that really holds you back from pushing one way or the other on either side. But on the top side, I feel like this terrain suits the 2nd Armoured much better because you've got a lot of light cover that you can use to kind of sneak through and get close to your opponent. And then you've only got small gaps of open ground which you could probably smoke off in order to get across and deeper into enemy territory. And I feel like that works better in favour of the Shermans in this case under the 2nd French as opposed to the Panzer IVs. The Panzer IVs can do okay at close range, but generally struggle. We saw Nilla take on Pixie on this map with Churin, and he used the T-34s to great effect through this light cover to really dismantle a lot of Panzer IVs. So we'll have to see if Gonzo can do that with the 2nd French against the 21st Panzer. But let's have a look at some of these troops going down, shall we? So we got the voltages here from Gonzo with a bazooka at the start. Further down, we're going to see the M8 Spy. There's going to be an M4A2, 2 of those. One's a command variant. 3 voltages, a couple AT guns, 57s at the start, and Sapiers. I think Gonzo's best bet for the middle is to just cover it with AT guns for the most part, at least cover his flags on his side of the centre. He's got a flamethrower that's probably just going to be put forwards to hold the front line as opposed to actually contest anything. And on the bottom side, he's got 3 flamethrowers with another AT gun and Sapiers. So looks like he's got his majority of his forces on the top side. On the very bottom here, though, there is 4 more flamers, 3 Sapiers and an AT gun. So flamers and Sapiers seems to be the name of the game for Gonzo when it comes to his infantry. And the flamers and the Sapiers can probably do okay in this heavy cover area, but it doesn't look like he's planning to really push through here. You can generally tell where the enemy wants to push based on where they've placed their medium armor, because that's what you're going to use to push forwards and support as you do. Pioneer on the very, very top there for Underthesea. We're just going to put that into the town to hold that. And he's got the Aufkladder, Flammenwerfer, MG42. He's got 2 Marders and an M4. The Marders are okay at dealing with Shermans, but they've got to be utilized well in light cover. So honestly, this light cover might suit the engagement for these Marders quite nicely, because the Shermans do cost more than the Marders, and so the Marders can get pretty good value if they get like a couple kills. 233s going towards the centre, Flammenwerfer there, Pioneer MG42. This is the other reason that the 21st is pretty good, because they get a lot of these like armoured cars that can be super aggressive, the recon armoured cars, and they do have tools like the M4s themselves that can back them up. On the bottom here, it's going to be 2 Sturm Pioneers, a Panzer 2 Pioneers, and a Flammenwerfer at the start with a Pak 38. So both players utilising AT guns quite a lot at the start. We've got 2 Pak 38s for Underthesea, and then we got the 6-pounders on the side of Gonzo. Then it seems like, for the most part, the armor's heading in the same direction. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have a bit of a clash on this top side between like the Marders and the Shermans. These Shermans, if they have the veterancy on them, they should win out. Like this M4A2 does have the 2-star veterancy. With the leader nearby, that'll be immediately 3-star veterancy, which is pretty strong and will definitely do a lot of damage. Hopefully the game will be underway shortly. Players seem to be readied up. I can't show you the commands just yet, but there we go, off we go. And you can see the commands there for Gonzo, just unloaded position commands mostly, with the fast move orders in there as well. Seems like he's unloading his voltages in here, and these orange markers are where he's using the half-tracks. So he's basically saying to the half-tracks, unload my infantry into the building, and then automatically move into cover. Which is a good idea, because you don't want to just sit your half-track next to the building you just unloaded it in, because what will happen is not only will you tell your opponent that you've unloaded infantry in there, also the half-track will just die. And those half-tracks can be very useful. We've seen them utilised well throughout this best of 5 series so far. M8 Spy zoomed up the road. Will it get a shot on target? No, it will not. The Flammenwerfer will survive, and so will the MG42. Flammenwerfer gets the smoke down. That's going to enable the engagements to be a bit closer. Gonzo's got to be careful with this flam. Oh, it's close. Yeah, the La Flemme here, he needs to make sure that doesn't die, because if it does, then that could cause him to lose a flag in the open. He's just much better off trying to keep that alive as best he can. But the 233s might just kill it anyway. They do have good HE value, but the 57 has unloaded, is going to be starting to fire back. It does take out one of the 233s, that's a good kill. So, AT gun for Gonzo unloaded here, the 57 is starting to engage the Marders. It looks like the M4A2 is engaging the M4 on the side of Underthesea. It's the loader knockout there. The 57 is going to survive, the Marders have survived, so a little bit of a skirmish, both sides coming out relatively unscathed. One of the Marders was damaged, but things are dead equal. 12 to 12 as we go into this last game. There's a lot on the line here. Big prize pool difference, I believe. So, really got to make sure that they get it right. And both players going to be trying their best in this one for sure. M4 is actually going to be coming in, another one moving down. Maybe that will try and help push in the open. I wouldn't be surprised if Underthesea doesn't have a single King Tiger in the deck. Like the 21st Panzer has been known for the King Tiger so long, since Steel Division Normally 44. But in Steel Division 2, it's just so damn expensive in comparison to like the M4s on this patch that it's really not worth it. You can buy like 4 medium tanks for the price of a King Tiger. So as much as a King Tiger is great, it's really probably not going to be terribly effective in this sort of engagement. Underthesea is going to want to make sure that he has a similar amount of armor to his opponent so that he can prevent things like flanking maneuvers. Otherwise, Gonzo will just run all over him. So making sure that he can cover all of the light cover positions properly and get, you know, his tanks into good positions is super important. Got another Panzer IV on the way. Having the combination of like an M4 and Panzer IVs is actually pretty strong, because you can allow your Panzer IVs to engage the enemy units at range whilst your M4s try and close the gap and really put down a lot of suppression onto nearby units, including like AT guns, for example, whilst also having really good aim time for snapshotting things. So that's something that we'll have to wait and see if it comes to fruition in that regard, but it's not always, it's a lot easier said than done, you know. Either way, we've got the engagement happening on the bottom side. Sturm Pioneers versus Sappers. Those Sappers, you don't want them to throw their grenade. They have thrown their grenade. That's going to be a dead Sturm Pioneer. One of them has survived completely though. It was lucky the grenade went into the unit that had the least men. That did actually save him quite a bit there. Another Sapper squad coming up. The flamethrower forces them to move. Pioneers, will they get their grenade off? Seems like the Sturm Pioneers are really doing a number. The 2-star Sturm Pioneers. Yeah, really, really nice moves here from Underthesea. He's starting to get a lot of pressure on. It's going to be a 2v2. Who will come out on top? German flamethrowers or French flamethrowers? We'll have to wait and see. These Sappers still kind of in trouble here. Being forced around. Here we go. Technically, I would say Gonzos should win because they were stationary when they took the first shot. So they technically had the entrenchment bonus. And it seems to have worked out that way. Although I'm surprised this Flammenwerfer didn't take a hit. But now he's 2v1, so that Flammenwerfer just has to back off. There's no way he can make any more ground there. Oh, the Sappers got their grenade off onto the Pioneer. That's what you like to see. That's exactly... You need these Sappers to get good use out of the HE grenades, otherwise they're really not very cost efficient at engaging other infantry. The 233, great flanking maneuver here. Does take out one of the half-tracks before it unloads. Also takes out the second half-track after the Sappers unload there. Really, really nice position here for the 233. The 57 is going to be able to cover it. Gonzo has bought a lot of AT guns at the start here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 AT guns on the field already. So I think what Gonzo's plan is to basically catch out Underthesea's armor and then counter push with his own. So use the AT guns to catch out enemy armor, and then because he's killed the enemy armor, he can get the counterattack. Now the Focke-Wulf 190 came in with the bombing strike there. Originally it could see the 57 mil because of the 233, but it lost line of sight, so it missed the bombing strike. Panzer IV doing a lot of damage down the road here, and it looks like Underthesea is really committing to this bot side push. Bring up 2 more Panzergrens and another Sturm Pioneer. The Sappers, though, still getting good value out of some of these. Can he finish off the last one? He can. He got rid of the Sturm Pioneer there. Now voltages on their way. Getting one of these Panzer IVGs at least onto the road to cover the reinforcing road would definitely be a nice idea for Underthesea right now. Meanwhile, on the top side, we do have one of the 251s. I think I mentioned how they don't have these. I think they only have a very limited amount. Usually you see like the U304s, which are just really not as good. The Pioneers getting the engagement with the Sappers there. Oh, they take the HE to the face. Oh no, that's not good. That Sapper squad really traded well, big time. Panzergren's going down. Triple voltages moving forwards. They need to get into the heavy cover. Now we got another engagement between the Flamers. This time Gonzo's Flamers probably will lose out. He can trade 1 for 1 at least, or 2 for 1. Nope. Underthesea is going to come out on top there. And oh, this could be a lovely bombing strike. Oh, it's perfect. It is perfect. That was beautiful. And the Panzergrens, they didn't really move forwards fast enough, but they definitely could have tried. That was very close to a triple surrender there. Lovely bombing strike. Took out the Sappers here as well, with the Sturmpire and the Panzergren, saving the Panzer IV from the Bazooka. Bazooka also does die here to the Panzergrens, so I think so far Underthesea's had a pretty good start. He's managed to get a Panzer IV and M4 into this light cover here. So he's covered the top side really, really well, whilst continuing to put pressure on the bottom side. And now these M5 half-tracks have been put down here. One of them actually gets killed by the grenades from the Flammenwerfer. Got two M4A2s coming up the road. Did he get a penetration in there? Let's have a look. Doesn't look like he did. One of the Panzer IVs goes down. Oh, bombing strike. Completely missed that. The DB comes in with the bombing strike. That's pinned down the Panzer IV, forcing it to fall back. Will allow Gonzo's own armour to continue to push forwards. He's really looking for that kill. He really, really wants it. There's no AT on this infantry. Bokov 190 coming in with the bombing strike, looking for the M4A2 there. Nice micro from Gonzo to reverse away from it. Flammenwerfer trying to get close enough to the half track to kill it off, but both of those Flammenwerfer squads dying for that. I would say that was pretty unnecessary, but either way, Underthesea not in a terrible position. He still has the positional advantage, being able to reinforce into this heavy cover, but losing the Panzer IV is a little bit of a blow to this position in the light cover, because now he's severely outnumbered if he tries to poke out with any of these armoured pieces. M4A2 just clean up that half track. It looks like Gonzo's going to go for a little bit of a play here with the M4s. Bringing up some recon first though, so that he can see what he's actually up against. Bazookas have been brought in. Gonzo's going to try and sneak it. Can he get a Panzer IV kill with a bazooka? Very nice indeed. That is perfect. This is exactly what you want to see. That is a 20-point squad killing off a 50-point tank. Pioneers go down there. I believe they're 50 points. Depends if it was Panzer 4H. 55 points for one of those. Panzergrens, though, will return the shot there. Sappers doing okay on this bottom side. Can they get off another HE grenade? Ooh, they get taken out before they throw it. Underthesea, good job there with the Panzergrens. Now the triple M4A2s coming through, and they don't even have to worry about that Panzer IV. Looks like Underthesea is kind of prepared for this. He's getting his Pak 38s into position. The M4s do have to be careful at close range against these Pak 38s because they do have the APCR shells. Those APCR shells will slice through that front armour. Ooh, look at this. He's coming in with his elite infantry. The Spanish Nueve are arriving. And they'll be looking to take on the Panzergrens. I don't know if they're Spanish or if they were like the French that fought in Spain. I think that's actually the case. But either way, they are elite squads. They come in with very high veterancy. They're very strong. Good loadouts. Just got to be careful that he doesn't waste them. The nice thing about them is they do have this MG34. Not many allied infantry have MGs like that, like MG34s or MG42s, especially ones that also come with Thompsons. That's probably the biggest thing. So at close range, like the Thompsons have quite a lot of DPS, and then the MG34 on top is quite big. Bazooka there takes out the half track, reveals its position. Panzerstreck's going to try, or Panzergren's probably going to try and hunt that down. Up here, the Nueva take out the Sturmpyos. He's looking to kill the Pioneers as well. He's got to do it before that HE reloads. Panzergrens are going to be found. That leader going down could severely hamper the defense here from Underthesea. Takes away a lot of veterancy, not only from the tanks, but also the AT guns. Still chasing down the bazooka. Looks like he will be able to keep up. Nothing really happening on the top side still. There is, however, two 88s rolling into the middle of the map for Underthesea. Off-map has been brought in by Gonzo. He's going to be using that to stage his push. So ideally, with the off-map coming in, he should probably wait to actually make this tank engagement, but getting a bit impatient here might cost him. Because this off-map is kind of misplaced now. His infantry could take a couple hits. So 3 M4A2s. He was lucky not to lose one there. One went really far up. DB's coming in with the bombing strike, looking for the Marders further back. If he had waited just a little bit longer, he might have been able to pick off some of those tanks. He was lucky that the off-map did kill off the M4. Good bombing strike, but yeah, the M4A2s are out of position. It's a bit of a misplay there from Gonzo. The bombers and the off-map were timed better. These M4A2s would have completely cleaned house. Because both the AT guns would have been pinned down, all the Marders are pinned down, he could have just one-shot all of them. Panzer IVs wouldn't have really been much of a threat. That would have been big. I didn't quite manage to make it pay it off. M8 Spies spotted one of the Pioneers that's moved up further up. And look at this push coming across in the middle. So the two MG42s, two 88s behind. In order to reply, Gonzo is going to be bringing in two of the M4 105s. They are the ones with the bigger guns with a lot of HE damage. So really good at taking on support weapons at range. Definitely able to kill off the MG42s easily. I think the reason that Underthesea is doing it is he's just trying to poke a flag, try and get an advantage in this game, which has otherwise been very back and forth on this bottom side. Underthesea got a really good advantage, but he seems to have squandered it. Gonzo pushing back probably could have broken through if he'd timed it better. But now we're on a bit of a stalemate for the time being as the Nueva start to engage the Panzergrens. The M4A2s are making a move. Gonzo's going to go for this engagement. He should be able to take out the Panzer IV without being seen by the Marders. As you can see, the line of sight there works out quite nicely for the M4A2s. Just wants to make sure that he doesn't engage the Marders at the same time, because that would be really bad. The Panzer IV does go down. The Pak 38 is engaging. Just get a couple HE on target there and he's grand, but he let one die. It's not good. The Pak 38 does get the job done. At close range, the Pak 38s do have significant penetration. And well, would you look at that? Oh boy, it's a King Tiger. It's actually a King Tiger. Now, I did not actually even expect to see a King Tiger in this game, but there one is. SPW233 does go down to the 57. Moving this forwards in the center is extremely risky. It's great as a defensive tool, but when you're actually moving it forwards like this, it's so damn risky because of like AT guns on the side that could potentially ambush you. In this case, the Focke-Wulf takes out the one on the hill that took out the 233. MG42s in the meantime have been taken out in the center there. The M4s are backing off. You can see that Gonzo is just completely reversing these, and then he's going to fast move them up onto the hill so they can maintain their distance from this King Tiger. So Gonzo's got to figure out a way to kill this King Tiger. Like I said, the most reliable way is probably to side shot it with an AT gun. He does have these AT guns up here, so he can maybe bring one to the edge and get a shot in that way. He can maybe bring one on the bottom side and try and find a shot from up here somewhere. Off map coming in again though. That could do a lot of damage. Some of these Panzer guns are really low on health. Might clip the Panzergrenführer. There's two AT guns in there. That would be a beautiful strike if it lands on the mark. But it's 13 to 11 in favour of Gonzo. 17 minutes in. Well into phase B. King Tiger trying to snipe an M4A2 here. Probably won't kill her in one shot. Well, actually missed two shots in a row. That's kind of unlucky for Underthesea there. Though they do have 55 accuracy base, so after the first shot at max range, you're going to be looking at 60-70% accuracy on that. MG42 does have line of sight onto one of these M57mm, or if he could get that kill, it'd be pretty big actually. Anytime you manage to snipe an AT gun with an MG42, you pay yourself off with that particular unit very well. Looks like the off-map did clean up both of the AT guns here. Bazooka kills off the half-track, but most of the infantry survived, including the Panzergrenführer, which is pretty important. Now Underthesea is going to fall back and leave his own off-map trap. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. We've seen Karma do this before. I believe it was in the final of Season 4, where Gonzo or Karma, one of the two, put down their off-map. I think it was Karma who counterplayed, but Gonzo put down his off-map, and then since Karma knew that he was going to push into it, he put down the off-map exactly where he'd just been off-mapped. And this is going to catch Gonzo perfectly. All his infantry is exactly right in the middle here. That's insane. So well played. Takes out the bazooka, takes out the Nueva. Oh, all of those squads are just getting annihilated. Oh, it's so perfect. And there's a beautiful play there from Underthesea. Will it take out the last two? I'm just trying to pay attention to the center of the map at the same time. Also, Focke-Wulf Bomber coming in further up to kill another AT gun. There's a lot going on across this map. That off-map strike was so beautiful, though. Looks like some room has been made into these buildings. There's a large contingent of forces here. Panzer IV now joining the King Tiger. Aufklärer hasn't unloaded yet. Important to keep the recon there, though, so that he can spot the AT gun. Panzer IV does go down further up. Looks like it pushed forwards on its own. Yeah, it pushed forwards on its own away from the M4. And it got completely outnumbered. It's one thing you need to be quite worried about. DB might finish off these pioneers. If it does, it might open up the flag on the top side. Gonzo's trying to make plays across the other side of the map, just to force Underthesea's attention away from this engagement. Off map coming down now on both sides. Underthesea might get caught by this, but it depends. If these Panzergrens keep moving, it looks like they're going to end up outside the range of the off map. Perfectly so. The Panzergrenführer might get killed. We'll have to wait and see. M4A6 now moving up. Looking for the engagement. Oh, hits that Aufklärer. Voltages versus Pioneers. Will the Pioneers get their grenade off? That's what we've got to look for. Marders ready from the light cover. This is where they're great. They're a bit too close, honestly. Because if they're a little bit further back, they could have reversed to break line of sight. But it looks like they get the second shot off there. Trades one Marder for an M4A2. It's a 45-point Marder for a 65-point tank, so can't really complain. His M4 penetrates, whilst Gonzo's does not. That is another nice trade for Underthesea. Off-map coming down now for Underthesea. Did lose his Panzergrenführer, but all of his Panzergrens here are perfectly fine. So managed to dodge that off-map quite nicely. Completely unintentional, but nicely done. We got the DB coming in from the center, looking for a bombing strike. Is that onto the Pak 43? Pak 43 unloaded in the open there. Oh, nice interception with the Focke-Wulf. Takes down the DB. Pak 43 going to try and move into cover ASAP, but the fullback's actually moving it in the wrong direction at the moment. Panzergrens, Sturm Pioneers moving up with the support of the Panzer IV. You can find that flag. Underthesea, I feel like he's on the cusp. He's on the cusp of taking like just a couple more flags that could push him to a 15-9. 15-9 is so important in a 1v1 because of the double tick. Lovely bombing strikes again coming out of these Focke-Wulfs. Doing really well with those. They need to be getting kills with every bomb. And then they just have like so much value. These MG42s though, not doing too great. Like a half track there, just got taken out. Here we go with a little bit of a town push here. Flamethrower gets taken out nice and easy. Bomber coming in on the top. What's that going for? It's going for the M4. Was the M4 already penetrated? It is. Might get killed off by this bombing strike. Looks like he did manage to kill off another M4 here. Ooh, man, it survives. That's pretty big, actually. Now we've got the Sturm Pioneers, Panzergrens moving up for the Sappers. Sappers did manage to grenade one of the squads, but the Sturm Pioneers going to finish them off, and that's another flag in favour of Underthesea. So he's set up his double 88 Aufklärer King Tiger in the centre. That is a lot of points invested into that centre area. But I think rightly so. The 21st Panzer, I mentioned how he would definitely favour the centre of the map over the 2nd French. So he's working with that, and I like to see it. Focke-Wulf 190 coming in with another bombing strike. Ooh, it misses this time around. The Nueve on the way back there from that fallback command. Marders, will they be able to deal with the M4A2s? 1 for 1 so far. He did, of course, lose the Panzer IV further back, but that shooter kill is pretty bad. Stopped the Marder from firing a second time. I would have guessed that stopped a second kill as well. Marder goes down. That's a lot of armor lost very quickly to the 3 M4 Shermans. One of them a 76 in there. That's good news. Really good news for Gonzo. But Underthesea is still putting on a lot of pressure. He's even brought a King Tiger up onto the ridge now. So a second King Tiger on the map. In a 1v1. Like, of all the things that I expected to see in this series, I don't think I expected to see a King Tiger. Honestly, I didn't even expect to see the 3rd Guards, but we saw that as well. So I guess it's not as much of a surprise. The King Tiger looking here for the kill onto the M4. Panzer IV's also helping out. Sherman did get picked off here by the bazooka. That's a good kill for Gonzo. He is slowly but surely starting to pick apart some of Underthesea's armor on the top and bottom side, which is pretty important. And Underthesea does have the center locked down nicely, but Gonzo has now taken this flag on the crossroads. He is now pushing up aggressively on the bottom side. So it looks like Gonzo is going to take his turn to get on the board as he puts Underthesea in the negative on flags. Voltages moving up quite aggressively here. Gonzo's realised that he's dealt with a lot of the forces that would otherwise stop him. The 233 though might just one-shot these half-tracks, yeah. Can't really allow that to happen again. He does. It's unfortunate. You hate to see it, but if they'd unloaded there, they probably would have died anyway. Nice bombing strike again from the Focke-Wulf. Clean kill onto the 57. Looks like a King Tiger was pinned up, or was penetrated though. Yeah, it has definitely taken damage. That must have been a side shot from one of these AT guns. He's taken out 2 of them though, one with the bombing strike, one with the King Tiger itself. Panzer IV's putting pressure onto the last one. Panzergren's actually moving in there to engage that. But on this bottom side, Marder's moving up again, trying to take out as many of these armoured units as possible. It does take out one of the M4A2s here. 2 of them still alive, of course. 3 now with the command coming in. This half-track zooming up, going to reveal another Marder. This one doesn't have infantry in though, so it's not as important. Here comes the Focke-Wulf for another bombing strike, looking for this 57mm by the looks of things. More Panzergrens on their way to help clean out this tree line. Panzergrens at close range versus the Voltages should win. That Focke-Wulf might actually get shot down. There's Bofors here, 2 Bofors. DB also getting forced to fall back, but the Focke-Wulf, yeah, it did die. Big kill there. Another 57 in position. Bofors on the bottom side for Gonzo. Look at these Panzergrens. They've actually managed to kill the infantry that was pushing into them. Now they're coming back the opposite direction, but they're bumping into 2 tanks, which is not ideal. The 50 cal and the 30 cals from this off-map vehicle are going to do a lot of damage. The M4A2 here can get a nice chunk of damage onto those Panzergren squads. That's unfortunate. And now the bombing strike as well. Volunteers should be able to sweep through there and clear it out. Kill onto the off-map vehicle. I think that was probably all used up. Oh, that was a beautiful bombing strike. Killed 3 of those squads. Obviously, they were all low on men, but still nicely done. Sturmpire actually got up onto this hill. We're seeing a 13-11 now again for Underthesea. He has been sitting on that advantage for a little while. Like, he managed to break down the armor on the top side with the King Tiger and the Panzer IVs, and he's also managed to get quite a lot of damage done with to these AT guns. But these AT guns have been, like, there's a new one being brought up here. So he's still in a position to be ambushed. Oh, get the MG42s unloaded. Please, Underthesea. Please. Don't let the 57 kill both your MGs. No. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, it's terrible. Those MG42s are the perfect counter to the 57s, but not if they're not unloaded. Oh, it's just been so many like good and bad things about this game now. It's just so bad to see Marder get taken out by the M4A3 and the M4A2. Nice flanking maneuver here from Gonzo to go through the light cover. Very good. Allows him to get closer to the Panzer IVs and the Marders and control the engagement. Doesn't really want to take on Marders from a distance because they do have quite a lot of penetration. Panzer IV now, 2-star Panzer IV versus these Shermans. The Panzer IV should be able to kill at least one of these M4A2s. He'd be unlucky if he didn't. He's bouncing. He's just bouncing. DB actually coming in. Gonzo does have the smoke DB. Panzer IV gonna kill one of the M4A2s. That smoke, will it stop another penetration? Oh, it was a bounce in the end. That seems to have covered him off for the time being. This unit being spotted at the moment, the Alpha Clutter, in actually a really nice position here. AT guns being snuck up on his bottom side. Gonzo's sixth sense allows him to move back away from that. Nueve are in position. They could move up to maybe prevent a counter push here. Volunteers moving up for the Panzergrenz. It's amazing how the top side just ended up being completely in favor of Underthesea. This King Tiger really solidified this area. Like, killed off this Sherman. He killed off, like, the M4 here as well. That bazooka, though, getting a good kill again. Nicely done. The bazookas and 2-man infantry squads, they don't affect the front lines, so that's been technically sneaking behind enemy lines. And managed to find that sweet armor kill. I'm not sure exactly when it went down. Panzer IV. Bombing strike coming in from Gonzo, though. This isn't looking good for Gonzo, though, at all. Doesn't even kill the Panzergrenz with that. Voltages are going to be cleaned up behind. Yeah, this is pretty tough for Gonzo right now. He's in a really, really rough position because I would say that the 21st Panzer has more longevity due to its heavier armor. And also, like, all of the support weapons and stuff that it can bring in. Whereas the second French just like has a severe lack of infantry, and the other thing with that is they don't really have like as many support guns and other things to use to get an advantage. And you see here these Panzer IVs just killed 2 M4A2s. Once he's out of M4A2s, that's another thing that's going to be really tough to deal with. The 21st Panzer can get quite a lot of Panzer IVs. Of course, depending on the veterancy that Gonzo brings in the second French M4s, he can also get a reasonable amount. But it seems like things are going to be quite a bit static here for a little while. We're just going to have to see if Underthesea has the patience to play this out. And the discipline to play this out. Because he definitely does have the advantage, for sure. But he needs to make sure that he doesn't let his units get picked off. Because that's what Gonzo's going to try and do at this point. He's just going to try and pick off individual units. Slowly but surely get AT guns into position. Like, he can move this one up, Gonzo, to say here, and just shoot this Panzer IV without anything else being able to shoot back. And he can move forwards a little bit more, shooting the next Panzer IV, and so on. And then maybe get a side shot onto the King Tiger. And there's so many things that Underthesea's got to watch out for. Getting his Aufklärer closer here would definitely be a good idea. Getting some Panzergrenz in front is also a good idea, especially into like one of these buildings, so he maintains control over this flag. There's a lot of little things that Underthesea's got to make sure he does right in order to not lose his advantage. So here we go. First line of sight there. See, Panzer IV taken out. Gonzo's going to keep trying to do little sneaky stuff like this. 81mm mortars coming in to pick off the 88s. And Underthesea is actually coming in to resupply these. But the mortars are going to make that completely pointless. 57, going for the next Panzer IV. And like with the loss of like that Focke-Wulf bomber, I don't know if he has like another one available at the moment. He does. Yeah, there it is. I was going to say, after this killed the first Panzer IV, he probably should have gone for it straight away. But now he's coming in with that bombing strike, try and kill it off. The MG42 almost killed it on its own. Looks like that will finish it off, but the Focke-Wulf might go down. It's flying right over two Bofors. Yeah, that's a goner. DB coming in with the smoke. Focke-Wulf's gonna crash. Ooh, almost into his own, almost into Gonzo's units there. Panzer IVs are now pushing through. Looks like both of these were killed off. The 76 and the M4A2 there. Good job by Underthesea to clear that out. Nueva still sitting back down here, which is surprising. Gonzo must have kind of forgotten about that unit. Oh, mortar fire coming in, trying to clear up that MG42. Now going for the 88s again. Without corrected shot, the mortars aren't really going to be able to kill the 88s that effectively. So yeah, this isn't working out too well. He'd be better off using these mortars to probably try and poke some of these MG42s and Panzer IVs and stuff, rather than those 88s right now, because I don't think those 88s are really that important in this game. I guess they're annoying and they stop his bombing strikes, but that's not really like the primary issue. Just getting rid of like the units in his way allows like the M4A2 to move forwards and clean out the MG42s if he manages to get some mortar strikes onto the Panzer IVs. Mortgage moving forwards here with the M5 half track. They clean out that, take back the point. That's going to be going back to 12 to 12 now. The smoke DB has allowed the M4A3 and the M4A2 to get pretty close here. Panzer IV is actually backing off from the engagement with the M4A2. Now bombers coming in on this bottom side. 88's just a little bit too far away there to help out. And with those being pinned down, one of them's actually got killed. Oh, I thought this M4A2 was going to engage the Panzer IV, but not quite. This Panzer IV is actually already damaged. Oh, never mind. I thought it was. It looked like it was. Usually you can tell because the models themselves aren't as like bright anymore. They get like that dull color. Oh, juicy APCR shot there from the Pak 38. Wipes out that M4. That was satisfying to watch. Very nice. Looks like an M4 died trying to push into here. Panzer IV still alive though. Now we got Underthesea bringing in more off map. He's got the 172mm off map on the field. Mortar fire continues onto the 88s in the center. Having these M4s in position is pretty scary for this King Tiger. That King Tiger shows its side armor for 1 second. That might not end well whatsoever. Big old off map though. Oh. Oh, there we go. There it is. Side armor shot from the M4A2. Can he get another one? He can. The M4A2 kills the King Tiger. Big loss there for Underthesea. There's no way it should have been that far up unsupported. He was trying to move it back because of that, but it was already too late at that point. The M4A2 survives the shot from the Panzer IV as well. Panzergren's getting cleaned up by the M4A2s here. That's a big loss in the center there for Underthesea. The main thing that these mortars would be good for right now is for pinning the 88s. And if he can keep those 88s pinned, he can actually drive forwards and engage them with his own tanks. This is ambitious. He's trying to bomb the 88s. One of them just gets absolutely slapped, but it crashes into the Oppo Blitz. No way. It went straight into the Oppo Blitz there. Took away the ammo from the 88s. Incredible. Only Gonzo gets away with that. Wow. Now that's pinned. See, he's pushing on it with the M4A2 and the M4A3 here. And it seems like slowly but surely, Gonzo is cracking the center of this map from Underthesea. But Underthesea does still have Panzergrens, and Panzergrens will demolish volunteers. So he's doing just that. MG42, can it kill the... Oh no, Underthesea! No! Why did he fall that back? It could have easily killed the Bofors. Oh, it's sad. Now it's probably going to die to one of these mortar rounds, isn't it? Oh no. It would have been close. I understand why he did it. Like, obviously you don't want to lose the MG42, but you got to commit in situations like that. You really do. Looks like this M4A2 is actually going to cause issues for these Panzergrens trying to move across. Honestly, that could pin all of these Panzergrens down and then surrender them. So, Underthesea's got to be pretty careful there. Panzer IV and Marder 1 not quite in position to help out. Looks like the DB's coming in with the smoke bombs, but hasn't dropped them. 88's going to force that to fall back. But now with the 88s dealt with in the center, looks like there's going to be a push coming in here from the M4A2 and the M4A3s. These four tanks trying to engage the two Panzer IVGs. Panzer IVGs know they're in a bad spot, trying to fall back. One of them's already down. Pak 43 unloaded in position. That's a scary AT again. Boom. I think it actually missed that shot. It was aiming at the M4A2 here. Gonzo rightly just making sure that he gets HE on target there as soon as possible. But with both of those 88s dealt with, you can probably just bomb it. Looks like he's changed target. Oh no, still coming in on the Pak 43. That might just die on its own, honestly. To the M4A2s. Yeah. I thought he was going to change the DB bombing strike to the Panzer IV because that would have made more sense. This other DB was brought in but didn't drop his bombing strike. Oh, off map, manages to get up on top of these mortar carriers. Killing these mortar carriers is actually super important at this stage of the game, because otherwise they will continue to pinpoint arty any unit that's not moving, and that can get really obnoxious. Well, they're moving back though, which means they're a lot less likely to die. They'll probably just get pinned and then move away from the off map. MG42 at close range. MG42 versus 50 cal. Unfortunately, the MG42s. Actually, this is an MG42. It's a 30 cal. My bad. The MG42 is going to win that engagement. DB coming in with the bombs there. Going to hit the Panzergrens. It missed completely. Now the Focke-Wulf giving it a go. Looks like that was just brought in as a fighter to try and kill the DB. So, artillery, or... Oh, one of the shells landed on target there. Nice hit from the off-map. Smacks one of the 81mm mortars. Very good. Removing at least one of those was definitely worth it. Now a new 88 being brought in here. Is that another one? Yep, two 88s, two fresh 88s being brought to the center of the map. Two fresh MG42s. Looks like Underthesea knows what he wants to do to take that back. But we've really got to pay attention to the infantry availability, I think. And also just the general amount of armor on the field. Because whilst Underthesea does have like a lot of armor, I think Gonzo's going to have more. He has a card of M4A2s without veterancy, which I think in Phase C gives him like 15. That's definitely going to be more than Underthesea has. The Underthesea does have an unvetted Panzer IV there though. I think Panzer IVs just in general get less availability on a card. Off-map actually going to be coming in onto the 88 and the King Tiger. This could be pretty big. This has taken a transmission damage, so it can't really move that fast. It's also damaged. The off-map might kill it. 155 more off-map. After that goes down, if he has some tanks to engage it, that could be pretty big. Nice kill onto the Nueva there. They do manage to kill off the Pack 38 though. Gonzo sitting at 15-9. That's a good advantage for him. Mainly due to these 3 flags here in the center of the map. These engagements are pretty crucial. Ooh, I'm surprised he fell back from the battery there. I guess the 8M1 carbines might be able to kill Panzergrens. But Panzergrens, of course, have 2 MG42s, so I don't know. I feel like I'd expect them to win still. Maybe that's just me that playing the current patch so much, but currently the Panzergrens in the game are pretty strong. Volunteers, they're falling back as well. MG42, that's in a rough spot. There's 3 Shermans in his face and 4 more volunteers are on the way. DB coming in. MG42 will probably go down, although there is 2 88s. Will they get the strikes in time? No, they won't. Which direction is that flying? It is flying away. Probably survive. MG42 does go down. That's going to give the flag back, I think. Yep. Ooh, potentially big off-map here. If this off-map hits in time, then Underthesea could really do a lot of damage to these M4A2s. There is a lot of M4s though. Okay, this could be kind of crazy. Oh, Gonzo's reversing these ones. Oh, he cancelled it! He cancelled it! No! Oh, Underthesea! Stop it! Oh, no! Oh, I can't believe he did that. It would have been so perfect. Now it's mistimed. Gonzo made the same mistake and now you're doing it too. Oh, Underthesea. Is he crumbling under pressure? I feel like he might be. Oh, it's such a tight game. Lovely smoke there from the DB. See, now no chance that this off-map's going to hit the mark. It could have hit all 6 of these tanks. Now the half-tracks are going to run down the Martyrs. Obviously they can't kill the Martyrs, but like he doesn't know what's in those half-tracks, so he's going to have to back away from them. Panzergren might kill off that M5 half-track. 2 Panzer IVs are on the way. Oh, there has been some moments in this game. There really has. This has been a fantastic game. The off-map does come down. It's not really doing too much damage. Like, ideally, when you're off-mapping tanks, you want to have something that can actually come in and get the kills. And the Martyrs were in position to do that, but just the mistime there. Unfortunate. It's a very interesting vehicle. Engaging those volunteers. That Panzer IV, I feel, is going to get a little bit overwhelmed. I guess only 2 of them need to engage, but one of them bounced. The Panzer IV will be able to return a shot, but die soon after, I feel. DB coming in with a bombing strike. Focke-Wulf tries to do something, but just gets forced back by these Bofors. The Bofors that he could have killed earlier. Bombing strikes just continuing to force that back. Now the M42s are advancing into this position once again. Oh, I don't know if that really would have changed the outcome, but it feels like Gonzo's like well ahead at the moment in terms of like overall units on the ground. So it feels like Gonzo's definitely in the driving seat to win this game. I don't know if that off-map would have changed the outcome, but he certainly messed that up by cancelling it, I feel. Oh, these Martyrs trying to turn around now. But they see the M4A2. And then M4A2 will be able to clean up both of them. Very nice. Good job, Gonzo. moving through there, but Underthesea playing with my heartstrings there. That's for sure. Now some supply coming in for those half tracks. More M4A2s on the way. There's just so many of these M4A2s, there really is. 3 of them on that top side. You got the M4A3 and the M4A2 there. Another 3 M4s. 2 more there. Another 3 down here. Completely outnumbering Underthesea and his 21st Panzer. I think he could... Gonzo could definitely try and secure the center again. If he could get some mortar fire onto the 88s and pin them down, he could probably overwhelm the center quite easily. But I think his primary objective at the moment is probably just to take this flag on the bottom side and then just not really lose these flags in the center in the meantime. Panzer IV looking for the engagement with the M4A2. So now, Underthesea has to do what Gonzo did to him, which is find ways to pick off the tanks that Gonzo has. And if he can, by doing things like this, where he moves towards the Panzer IV in cover, whilst the M4A2 doesn't have recon, he should be able to maybe find a kill or two. Now this Panzer IV is probably just bouncing off that because it's got pretty low penetration at that range. So Underthesea is probably not trying to try his luck too much, but he definitely needs to find those sorts of kills in order to get back in this game. Because there was definitely, like, the last 20 minutes or so where Gonzo's been picking apart Underthesea's defenses and really doing a lot of damage. I would say 20 minutes from 5 minutes ago, so there was like that section of the game that Gonzo really did a good job getting back into this, because he was not in a good spot, especially with Underthesea's control over the center of the map. The Panzergrens clearing out these volunteers will certainly help. DB is going to try and prevent that, but there is of course the 88s in position still. They're not going to be able to pin down the DB in time. The DB is just such a fast bomber. Good amount of damage. The volunteers not getting any men back anytime soon. It's under threat from the 233s. Gonzo's just bringing in all of these 30 cals and half tracks. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the 30 cals. Like, I'm not sure why people bring them so much. It might just be due to availability and the fact that you can bring them in half tracks more than anything else. But here, looks like Gonzo's actually gonna unload those early, since the SBW-233s and the Panzer IVs have actually got into position here. And if Underthesea could put a bit of pressure onto this flag, then maybe we would see it go back into 13 to 11. And the tickets are low for both players, so honestly, there's not much time left for either of these players if it goes one way or another. This top side is looking pretty precarious. If the M4A2s outnumbered the Panzer IVs, then maybe that would be some more ground made there. The King Tiger's kind of struggling because it's got the transmission damage. That's not going to be very useful. But here come the DBs. Panzer IV going to be part of that bombing strike. DB's going for the Black 41. Okay, he's going to try and dismantle this center area. That's going to be the Flak 41 going down. Panzer IV went down. This Panzer IV-G is under threat from the M4 on the ridge. Also, these ones coming in on the ridge here and engaging as well. Look at that. What a view. 88 might actually do a lot of damage here to these tanks if they don't start firing at that 88. Off map coming in down again, down on that one. M4A1 continuing the engagement with the Panzer IV here. These two M4s moving up to engage it at close range, going to take out that one as well. Looks like Gonzo's just put the pedal to the metal and is just wanting to finish this game, as he has such a huge advantage in medium armor. And these two Panzer IVs can't even stand there and engage these. Technically they should win. If he can control the range engagement here, he should be able to pick off one tank at a time. But that's all of a sudden gone from 12 to 12 to 17 to 7, which is a rather large difference in flags. Off-map coming down onto some of Gonzo's tanks here. One of them does go down to that off-map. Maybe the second one will as well. I believe this has already been off-mapped before, so some of these might be quite damaged. Now it's 18 to 6. 4 minutes left. That's all the time that Underthesea has. I think he's just completely out of infantry. And, well, I did not really expect the 2nd Armoured to outlast the 21st Panzer. But I guess that's just the way that Gonzo builds his divisions. He does definitely add some late game contingency to his Vanguard divisions, and I feel like in this case it certainly helped him out with the numbers, especially on these M4A2s. On the top, even a push coming in here as well. Gonzo really going for the throat. He smells blood. Both players making mistakes with off-map in this one. Interesting plays in the middle with the King Tiger and against the King Tiger. The 88s. There's just been so many awesome moments in this game. But it looks like Gonzo, he was dismayed when he lost Season 4, lost the Season 4 final to Karma. But this time he dispatches of Karma in the semi-finals. He's up against Underthesea. He gives him a serious run for his money. But it looks like it's more or less all over here for Underthesea. Unless Underthesea can pull off some sort of crazy RNG miracle with these Panzer IVs where they just like one-shot every single tank, I think Gonzo's pretty much got this one in the bag. He's even got more infantry to bring up. He's got bombers coming out again. The 88s have been dealt with, so these Panzer IVs are pretty much fair game for those bombers. Yeah, it's a major defeat for Underthesea in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Focke-Wulf 190 coming in. Underthesea's had enough of these DBs. Can he shoot one down? Nope. Just to add insult to injury. That Focke-Wulf's going to get nowhere near these DBs, isn't it? It's really sad. The Bofors, they're going to be able to stop the Focke-Wulf from really staying on the back of the DB. Yeah, there he goes. Panzer IV dead on the bottom side. Underthesea surrenders. Total victory in the end for Gonzo, and, well, that does not tell the story of this game whatsoever. That was a crazy last game. 5,795 kills, 4,535 losses. The mid game was really super important. Like, the early game, Underthesea totally had it under control. It seemed like he did really well. He knew the strength of his division. He took the open ground using the 88s, which was really smart. Maybe the King Tiger was overkill. The positioning was a bit weird. But otherwise, Underthesea, great job. Like, early game, really good. But then he kind of got complacent. Gonzo started picking him off with his AT guns. And Gonzo just had so many of those AT guns. He really did. And Underthesea didn't have enough Focke-Wulfs to bomb all of them. And Gonzo managed to get his Bofors up. So that kind of stopped those in their tracks anyway. So Gonzo managed to start picking apart Underthesea's defenses. And just eventually it built up to such a lead that Gonzo probably had like 1,000 more points on the map, or maybe more than that on the map than Underthesea did, and that just led to that collapse at the end where you just saw Gonzo realised he was so far ahead, pushed everywhere, took the victory, job done. But yeah, that certainly was a amazing battle to watch. Really enjoyed that. Like, for an hour game, usually they're not all that exciting towards the end because it gets really slow. But in this case, it's like both players tug of war the whole time. Very cool game. Enjoyed watching that a lot. Great job to both players in this one. But alas, congratulations to Gonzo for winning the final of the Season 5 playoffs. Congratulations to him, takes the prize money for first place. I'm not sure if there's prize money for second place, but I'll probably post in the comments or something about what the prizes were and so on. Anyway, King Tiger going down to the M4A2. What an absolute chad. Double side shot as Underthesea was trying to reposition his King Tiger after it got a little bit too far forwards for its own good. I think King Tigers are great and all, but they really need to kind of maintain their range to hold their advantage, because otherwise they're quite easy to pick off. M4A2, all of these M4A2s just had so many of them. And really utilized them to his advantage. Those DBs were pretty important for picking off individual units, and just so many AT guns in that deck. In terms of losses, well, Underthesea did really well here. He got the Panzer IVs to work for him, just like Gonzo did for him. Marder 1 getting 2 M4A2 kills is actually really good. The Marders were a good choice. I do like the Marders in this matchup because I feel like they can trade quite well with M4s, and when they do, it's so far in the favor of the 21st, it's just silly, which is why he had like a decent advantage early on. The Focke-Wulf killed 3 AT guns, but it's not enough. There was so many more. Panzer IVs at range doing a lot of work here against M4A2s. King Tigers, you can see they didn't really perform that well. The one up on the top did. Like, this was the one that reinforced on the top side. I think this was more crucial. This one, not so much. This just became a target for AT. This one, much more presence on that top side, kind of allowed him to control the open flags much easier up there. The ones in the center were kind of already covered by the 88, so having the King Tiger wasn't so important. And then later on, you can see that Underthesea was just getting less and less value out of his units, and this is where the collapse really started to begin. Like the AT gun sniping a couple of the Panzer IVs, and then, you know, Underthesea just didn't really get any more kills after that. We can see over here on the side of Gonzo, where's that AT gun? Because we can see as soon as that starts happening, you just get so many kills afterwards. It's actually ridiculous. I can't even find it. There's so many kills there. Where is it? There's a Panzer IV there. Maybe the Panzer IV didn't kill the second one, or the AT gun didn't kill the second one. Yeah, I think it was probably this AT gun. Oh, and this was on the top side, wasn't it? Where the 2 MGs died. Oh, that was so bad. Oh yeah, forgot about that. I just suppressed that in the back of my mind because it was awful. Underthesea losing 2 MG42s to a 6-pounder. When they're the perfect counter. If you just unloaded them, that 6-pounder was dead instantly. Oh. And I, like, in previous games, I really commended Underthesea for his map awareness. But I think by the end of this best of 5, it definitely felt like he was losing his concentration at times. And yeah, Gonzo just took advantage of that completely. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this best of 5 series. Hats off to Gonzo and Underthesea for giving us a great series. I'm really looking forward to seeing Underthesea play. He is known as UUUU on the Steel Division Discord, on the Steel Division official Discord, so and the Steel Division League, I guess. So yeah, if you ever see them, give them a good thumbs up. Great players, and yeah, big thanks to them for putting on a show. Also, of course, big thanks to the team at the Steel Division League. They are fantastic guys for working on keeping the community competitive. I really like what they do, and you know, this wouldn't be here without them. You know, the Steel Division League is like such a big thing. Prodozoka did so much work on it. Unfortunately, he's like now stepped away from it, and it's been taken over by you know, the other guys in the Steel Division League, Green, Scout Spirit, those kinds of guys. And yeah, they do a fantastic job on it. So again, hats off to those guys as well. That's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.